Hi, so today I wanted to talk about a very broad art concept. I call it artistic intuition. This might have been coined by somebody else, but I have not looked very much into it. So I'm just going to say I came up with it. Why not? Anyways, to go into it, I'll explain what intuition is, how it applies to art, the fact that artistic intuition can be taught, and how to get better art intuition. So let's start. By the way, in the background is a drawing I made a while back, not too far back, like a few months, that I really liked. So enjoy seeing the progress as it goes on. Intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge or make decisions instantly without conscious reasoning or evident rational thought, often referred to as a gut feeling. It acts as a mental shortcut, relying on pattern recognition within the brain to match current situations against past experiences. That was from Google. But for the most part, I agree with it, give or take. Anyways, I would say some real life examples of intuition are recognizing dangers or creeps. Your life has told you what those kind of people act like and what situations you should get away from, even if it's not in your face. Or when someone is lying. We've all encountered liars throughout our lives. I would say another example is being good at sports without formal coaching, just an intuitive understanding of how your body moves, in what situations can your body do what, that kind of stuff. I would describe intuition and artistic intuition specifically to be what people call talent. Although people get really mad when you say somebody is artistically talented, kind of because we all have this Russell mindset of, nothing is talent with art. It's all practice, all practice, all practice. It's mostly to help beginners feel better about themselves, but I do think there is a truth to artistic talent, which is artistic intuition, in my opinion. So, how does intuition apply to art? Well, first and foremost, it makes making art faster. If you have good artistic intuition, you don't have to delegate resources in your mind to decision making with certain things. Instead, you can just do it. So it speeds up a lot of your process. But I do think artistic intuition can be taught. So this is how I went about improving my own artistic intuition, because I did have things that I felt I intuitively understood better than other aspects. So I had catching up to do. So for concrete things like perspective, I would say studying photography is the best because it has very much right and wrong. You can get perspective straight up wrong without much debate, whereas character design is more debated, or color choices is more debated. It's more based on the emotion you're going for. And how you analyze this photography is, I would lower the opacity of your drawing software, or get a semi-transparent piece of paper or a light box to put the photo and the paper on top so you can see through it. Then I would start making observations of the photo. For example, can you spot the horizon line? Is it obvious? You can guess if it's not obvious. What angles are you seeing? If the shoulders are flat, are they still angled, or are they flat with the screen? Like if they have shoulders that are even in their pose, but when you're looking at it, it's angled. Why is that? Things like that. Belts, bracelets, chokers. What are the curves on those, and how does that relate to the horizon line? These are things that can help you get intuitive perspective, so you don't have to do grids and drawing everything out with a ruler as often as you used to. That's how I do a lot of my sketching, and then I polish it up by checking my work, basically, which is something you should always do. It is good to have artistic intuition, but you want to check your work after the fact before you commit to anything. Anyways, a big example of intuition in art is composition. When you're growing up, you take photos, you're in photos, you look at photos, and you look at art, and subconsciously your brain notes down where different objects are placed within that photography. And when it comes time for you to draw, most artists don't start out formally learning about composition, yet they still use compositional layouts that you'd see in a textbook, Why is that? Because throughout our life, we build an intuition for composition that doesn't need to be taught. Although I still think it's important for things that may come intuitively to people, or even most people, to still be taught in schools, because there are always exceptions to the rule. There are plenty of people who naturally have bad art intuition, so they need to overcome that. So that was my talk about art intuition. I tried going a little bit more of a bullet point style instead of a hard script, so I hope it wasn't too rambly. Thank you.